Hello everybody, back at the old Joliet Ironworks, starting out with the hisser place. Gonna walk out, gonna, hold on, I gotta lock my car. This isn't of the greatest neighborhoods, but cool as shit either way. Alright, got somebody sitting in the pavilion. We're gonna actually check this place out a little more today. Here we go, I&M Trail, paved in asphalt. Gonna give this a rub. Go over some of these again. We were here already once, but basically just a little overviews of what the old Joliet Ironworks was. Back in those days. Here we little view of the pavilion. Day for that because it's shade, because it's hotter than fuck today. But yeah, we'll hit this hike. But yeah, back in those days, man, when this thing was around, everybody was fucking poor, except for those who weren't. If you worked, you were poor. If you owned shit, you weren't poor. It's basically the way shit worked back then. We won't do a whole lot of exploring as much as we did last time, because back then it was winter, below zero obviously. I had to splice together fucking 2-minute segment clips because not only was the memory dead on my phone, but it kept killing my battery. Here we go. These rocks and this wall here are probably older than time. We'll go this way. Little area off the beaten path. Long live David. Wild to think, at least they're trying to keep some sort of historical reverence to a place like this. I feel like they should have done a better job at preserving it, but something's better than nothing, I guess. If you've ever been in a steel mill and or plant, you could have some appreciation for a place like this that's been around since like fucking. But yeah, big old wall. I think at some point this may have been an entrance to it off of this road. At some point, this sucks. I'm almost positive when I was here last, there was some abandoned buildings that I wanted to come back and explore, and it looks like they're all torn down now, which sucks because it would have been cool to go check them out. Yeah, just a lot of rubble. I'd like to find how to get back in there sometime and check that shit out, because I wonder if any of that is part of the old Joliet Ironworks. Dangerous structures, stay on the path. We know the gig. We've been here before. We'll check it out. If we can get anywhere around that area, hold on, that area over there, I know it's all covered with shit now, but Um, yeah, there's backhoes and shit. They're tearing all that shit down, which sucks. Hopefully that wasn't part of the old little ironworks, but who knows? We'll see. Again, this up. Not going to read the whole thing. That's cool though. The blast furnaces they built in 1873 are finished after the Chicago fire, which is cool. There's other people out here, so we'll try and stick to the trail today. Do as much as we can. Hopefully my phone doesn't overheat, kill the battery, or kill the memory, just because there's stuff that needs to be erased from my phone, video wise. This would be a good place for them to put a bench. See, there's old steel there. Something had to have been here at some point. Obviously the old brick and limestone. This area is big with limestone and shit like that. The quarries and shit. If you go into certain areas of Lockport and Joliet, and yes, it's Joliet, there's still laws on the books. You probably won't get in trouble, but if you call it Joliet instead of Joliet, you could get a ticket because the people who founded it got tired of people mispronouncing the name. What's up? Come on. Another piece of steel with some stones around it. Could have been anything. Talking more about blast furnaces and people who were called clay busters, working in 150 degree heat. Ugh. Pig iron laborers, castings. There's actually a bar that one of my uncles goes to. I'm not sure it's still around or the owner's still alive, but it was called the Pig Iron. Some more steel. Well, I'm assuming this big circle here is some casting thing. At some point was, anyways. Yeah, because as you come over here, there's bricks and shit over here that are kind of outlining the circle. All this shit you see here, all of it, where there's growth and shit just broken and fucking thrown everywhere. I would love to come out here with a torch or a matabo one day, insanely early, and cut out a piece of steel and have it at the house. It's just an old piece of the Joliet Ironworks. We'll hit this area, obviously. Can't zoom in because all the cameras on the rear are broken. The column was here, column was there, so I'm assuming this obviously was a decent sized building. Lots and lots of thick ass concrete, so something here must have been worthwhile. That thick ass steel obviously was cut with a torch. You could tell all that was cut by a torch. Even to take some of these bricks, Sligo K, whatever that means. Maybe it's a company that sold the bricks back then. But yeah, maybe cut one of these off at the bottom. There's an old piece of steel from the Joliet Ironworks. This probably went underground. I'm assuming it got all backfilled in. You could tell though at some point it must have went underneath. Probably a big fucking cauldron of some kind may have sat on top of there. The stove tender, yeah, blast stoves, yep. That was some sort of right. You got dickheads that fucking tag all over shit. Leave it the fuck alone. Moving a little bit further down, not even a couple feet. I'm guessing these are castings. Here, 2, 3, there's a fourth still buried. Yeah, so throw the hot molten lava on it. Lava chicken. Lava chicken. Now I don't know if that's that old, but it would be cool as fuck to fucking grab that brick if it was. 1874. That'd be an old ass brick to have. Joliet Opera House opens doors. Oh, in 1874. I'm guessing it ain't that old. Telephone is invented. Somebody took the year. Phonograph invented. Let's see. There's nothing here. Somebody stole all the bricks from that one. 1882. The Red Cross is organized. Interesting. Nothing here. Somebody took the year on this one. The first skyscraper built in Chicago. Now that would be a cool one to have. Just to take all the bricks that say that with the year, but somebody obviously wanted that. Joliet Opera House burns down. Again, somebody stole the year. Motion invented. I'm guessing picture. Ford builds automobile. Years gone on that. Interesting, people steal years. Roosevelt visits Joliet. There's causes, so this was supposed to be somewhere else. Joliet Township is built. Rain in development. Wright Brothers airplane. Yeah, people are just mixing this shit up all around. I'm guessing that one was when the Wright Brothers invented the airplane. Not invented, but had the first flight. No need to go in there today. Holy shit, I just got hit in the chest by a big ass bug. But yeah, no need to go in there today. We went in there in the wintertime. What you see is what it is. There's nothing inside. It's just walls and on each side with the archways. Long. We'll walk the distance and show. There's another entrance down there that we will obviously there's a warning sign telling people, hey, don't get fucking hurt like idiots. Let's see. This one says people, oh, this is talking about the safety and accidents. In 1916, the 4 leading causes of injuries at these blast furnaces were hand labor, hand tools, flying or falling material, and burns. Yeah. So, back then, things were a lot different than they are now. Now, these, I think, are where all the big cauldron type things were sitting in. And there was overhead things that would pick them up and move them. They pour shit in these, if I'm not mistaken. I have been to and worked at blast furnaces before. But Things could be different, things could have changed. Here we go, some writing on these. Ashland in wall #1 key. Ashland tip top #1 key. Interesting. I'm gonna have to maybe try and Google that at some point. There's water. Can't tell, it's all fucking algaed over. But even that big pipe, just to get a piece. I'd like some of those stumps that were burnt, like I shown with the that were cut off with the torches. I mean, this wasn't so fucking rusty. Let me jump down here. Gotta try and be careful. This shit's old, and every step you take, this shit could collapse and break. Obviously, those were for a column. I'm assuming maybe shit got poured in through here. Maybe. Who knows? Could have just been a walkway as well. You never know. More stairs. You can tell it's all brown clay here. Another sign probably saying keep out. A lot of the concrete, man, there was such more columns with such fucking use of concrete at these places. Warning, dangerous industrial ruins, elevated structures, loose bricks, concrete, stand, bath, keep out. Okay. 4 pass stoves. The steel mill. Got the river, Chicago, Scott, State and Franklin, and can't read that. Collins, Parks, can't read that. Francis, Meeker, Chose, I can't read that. Oh, Swedish, English, Scottish, and Welsh, Polish, Italian, and Slavic, Polish, Irish, Croatia, Slavic, and Serbian. I'm assuming they kept all those people segregated and made them work together, maybe because their languages are close. I don't know. I have no idea. Polish and Italians aren't close in language, but who knows? Maybe this is where they lived. Who knows? Came from influence Western, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. You got that. So interesting. It's just so wild. We'll take this way. Staying on the path. Phones start real hot, so I don't know how much more video we're going to be able to take. But I think we're kind of coming to the close on Ironworks itself. Maybe another little bit of a hike. But my phone's starting to burn up in my hand. I'm assuming the batteries are red hot. Let me see. Yeah. The battery's lowering in percentage pretty quickly. Usually when it overheats, it shuts down all the apps. So we'll see if it keeps it going. We'll see if it shuts it off. If it shuts it off, just know I'm not turning it back on, and we'll just call an end to the video. I'm gonna go up these stairs. Flip her up. Big wall. These, I'm assuming, was some sort of an entrance type thing at some point. Coming up. Some stairs. right. Down in there. Obviously, maybe we'll check that out. Maybe we won't. I'd have to jump over some shit to look in there. But processing the people. Blast Furnace 3. So this was Blast Furnace 3. The Cinder Snapper. Slag or cinder. Created during smelted. So basically, when they created steel, all the slag, they'd get the fuck out of there. Keep everything clean. They put the slag in different train cars and roll it out. Some more old ass brick. Definitely gonna have to come through here with a backpack. Get some history. Keep it at the house. Safe to go from head to toe. Whatever that number means. This all goes underground somewhere. Blast Furnace number 4, which I'm assuming exists at some point. Day in the life of a mill worker. All this stuff has just been worn out by weather. It would probably be nice if they'd redo that. All of this going underground through here. Yeah, they did tear down all the stuff that we saw in the back view this winter. It would have been cool to go fucking explore it, but you know, sometimes so long, so many chances to do these things, and sometimes you miss out. So this could have been anything. Just rooms, offices. How's it going? Those people started right before me, so assuming that there's not much left to this, after we get to the end, maybe stay on the path, go for a little extra long walk, just see what's ahead. If there is nothing, there's nothing. This could be it. We got some more concrete, bricks, walls. Wish I could zoom in, but again, my cameras are all fucking smashed to shit. That's why you don't bring your phone to work. Used to keep it in my back pocket. Now I just leave it in the fucking car. Alright. We're gonna go all the way up this ramp. I don't think there's any more history. We got this. This is a big section of whatever could have possibly been here. The amount of concrete used here is astronomical. Can only imagine what was built here at one point. We got another gear here. We'll pause on that gear just to go over here in the shade to the turnaround. That way we can't say we didn't explore everything. Now this wouldn't be too bad in the winter to go try again, but go down in a place like that and see what in the fuck is in there. Yeah, could cut those too. Those are the same thing. Those things sticking out. Just pieces of steel cut with a torch. You got some more anchor bolts sitting there. Anchor bolts sitting there. There. Alright. We got another gear here to give us a little more history on this place. Introduction to 1906. Bigger and better was the iron company's motto. Bigger furnaces, more profit. In 1870, a furnace made 50 tons of pig iron a day. In 1906, they made 400. Talk about a fucking change. Holy shit, technology. From 50 tons to 400 tons in one day. In, let's say, what was it, 46 years? Or 36 years. 1870, 1906. U.S. led the world in producing iron and steel, making railroads. Here we go again. Companies more concerned with profit than safety. Hiring immigrants who work longer hours, less pay. That's why you fucking work in a union. Companies will do that, especially labor unions. I'm not going to get into the whole union debate here with private sector unions and labor unions, but I will say this: if you're doing any kind of labor, there needs to be a union. I don't give a fuck what your excuse is or what your bullshit is. Not just for money and pay, which a lot of the private sector unions like to complain about, but it's working conditions, man. Working conditions are big. If you actually take the time to read any of that shit, or if you can, it's all worn down. The working conditions back there were garbage, man. They didn't give a fuck because they would just fucking die. Nobody knew who they were. Their families were either in another country, and it's not like they could call them. They had to send them letters. Shit would take forever. People would die constantly. They didn't give a fuck. Next man up mentality. They'll just get another guy who's willing to work for fucking breadcrumbs a day until they brought in safety and safety regulations. That's when shit changed, man. Remains of the stockhouse. There's water there. So, railroad. I'm thinking maybe that street there is where a railroad was. So they put all the materials in the stockhouse and brought it to the furnace, 86 feet high. There they are, bringing it up, boop, 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 boom, right into the furnace. The top of the elevator, and you dumped materials in there, poison gases from the furnace could kill the guy filling, cause him to fall into the furnace. They didn't give a fuck about you. Park your bicycles here, dangerous structure. Stay on the path. So this has to be a path. We'll go up a touch. That's an actual road. I'd be interested to see how to get back there and where that leads to one day. We're not going to go too far. We're going to go a little bit up this hiking path. But we got through the Joliet Ironworks rather quickly today. 30 minutes. Didn't jump on a lot of shit and explore shit. Been here already. Even though the video was fucking Frankenstein together. But better to see it in the summer when it ain't below zero, because I do remember it being below zero back then. Right when we get, there's a bend up here, we get to the bend, we'll take a look, see what's around it, and then turn around unless it's something worthwhile. Looks like there's a crane or something up there. Hard to tell. Got all these old power lines and shit. I'd love to. So I went to that a week or two ago to that like little towny museum. Here, check that out in the winter time, and that shit's all dead. Once we get to this bend, we'll turn around. Because they might have history on places like this. They had some pretty cool history on the arsenal. They literally had picture albums of every single part of the arsenal from when it was operational, which is insanely cool. I would like to have that in my personal collection. Obviously, I'm not gonna take it from a historical society. Alright, here's the bend. As soon as we come around the side of the bend, we'll turn around. But yeah, it's something that would be cool to have, just to have the history, know the history. Same thing with the stuff at Midwin. I'm assuming this is something. Maybe take that little part of trail and see what the hell that white shit is. Go out to the road and walk the road. Okay, whole lot of trail. Let's see what this is. Walk the road back, and then we'll take the path back. And stay on the path instead of taking the road. Mattresses, wonderful. These look like at some point we're still in the box. 2 box springs and a mattress. Either homeless people or those could have been used in a crime. Obviously, my mind goes to stupid shit like that. This is the road. We're gonna take this back, and then when we get to that bend up there, take the path back. Each season has its advantages and disadvantages. Obviously the winter sucks, it's cold. But at the same time, everything's dead around you. So you could see more, explore more, do more. But a lot of times, the time you have out is less because it's fucking cold as fuck, man. You don't want to be outside in that shit. I mean, there are times when you're hiking and you warm up a little, which is good. That's happened to me a handful of times. This place, especially, I remember it was literally below zero, hence why my phone kept dying, hence why the memory on my phone kept fucking up. That, and I fucking forgot to erase a lot of old stuff, but and my phone's old as hell. But holy fuck, whatever that was. Oh, there's the train tracks right behind here. So where we saw in that thing about the train tracks on the final gear we saw, it's shown right to my left is train tracks, so that kind of makes sense now. There's a guy riding his bike. Alright. We're not going to take that road. We're just going to stay on the same path. Sorry for that quick movement. A bug was flying right at my face. Another thing you don't have to worry about, as much at least in the fall and winter, is bugs. Little bike rack. So you can, everything up to this point's like a bike path, and then you got the Joliet Ironworks, which is cool. There's got to be multiple entrances to this place, which hold on. Gonna have to do some recon and find on our own. Maybe come back again and do the hike a little differently. But yeah, much better here in the shade. It's not all gonna be shade, but I'll take it where I can get it till I can get back to the fucking car. We'll do a quick rant, and it's a rant that I've done 100 million times, almost on every single video. We'll do a couple of them actually. I have a couple on cue, ready to go. We're gonna go back to driving. I know it's old, I know it's the same shit, but I drive a lot every day, easily over an hour each way, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. Been even longer than that sometimes. One way. Just depends on what time I leave work, where I leave work from. You could literally leave work 5 minutes later and come home an hour and a half later because traffic changes that much in 5 minutes. So I'm gonna bitch about people changing lanes. Same thing I've bitched about a million times. Was coming home from work again yesterday for the millionth time, and it was like a free-for-all of people just fucking cutting each other off. And I've said it before, I'm not one to tailgate people. The only time I will tailgate somebody is if there's an exit. Fucking starting to sweat. So let me explain the whole exit thing. So, especially if there's construction and you're in a right lane for days and you're waiting for this exit and you've waited for a while, there's assholes who will do one of two things. They'll ride that shoulder, or they'll ride the speed lane, and at the very last fucking second, they'll cut in front of you, or try to, and get in the turn lane after you've sat in traffic like a fucking hump and this guy's trying to cut the line. Once I get about 50 to 100 feet, I really start riding the ass of the guy in front of me, and I move my car slightly to that side. So, A, they can't get around me, because they'd have to hit me or hit a wall, and they can't sneak in front of me. They get pissed. Yesterday there was some fucking dumb lady. I'm trying to get on 88. 88's tons of construction going on 294, of course. Chicago's always got tons of construction going on their highways. But literally tried pulling that move. Drove in the left side the whole way and like threw her car in front like she was gonna pull it in front of mine. I kept my car. And it's in situations like these I say thank God I didn't hit the car in front of me. But I remember pulling even with this lady and wagging my finger like Matumbo, saying no, 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 fuck you. And lo and behold, this vehicle behind me did the same thing. And then the lady got in behind them. So, then as I got on 88 after that big long melee, I was in the left lane like I usually am, and the lady tried, for no reason, because traffic was kind of open at that point, cutting me off. Not happening. I sped up so she would be stuck behind a semi, and then the car behind me sped up, and oh boy, was it nice. So I try and be in a decent mood after work, especially on a Friday, knowing I'm going home and I don't have to go back to work. But it's idiots like that who fucking constantly put my old ass in a bad mood. Now, also, just because you have a turn signal and you use it doesn't mean you can cut people off. I've said this openly. I'm not talking about weapons like guns, but you should be able to throw fucking garbage up to and including glass bottles out your window at these jagoffs who cut you off. Should just be okay to do. So, just my opinion. My other bitch now. This could be short, this could be long, who knows. Funny how a few weeks back, when dumb fuck Trump came out and said the Epstein files were fake, and why are people still talking about it? He was just a pedophile or some stupid shit like that, like he usually does. Everybody was up in arms for about 5 minutes. And then he started talking about other shit. And he really started talking about other shit. And he really started drilling it home. And he brought up something like the old okey doke. What can I do to get people to stop talking about Epstein? I'm going to play the political game. The one thing I know that everybody's together on, no matter your political affiliation, no matter what color tie you wear, people want to know what the fuck happened with the Epstein files, who went to that fucking island, and who's going to fucking prison. Not jail, prison. And these fucking mutts did one thing they know, they're smart, and the rest of the American people are dumb. And yes, American people are dumb because they fall for the okey doke every time. He brought up, oh, Barack Obama did the whole Russian collusion bullshit. I don't give a fuck no more. It's over and done with. Shit like that's been happening since the beginning of politics. Is it right? No. Should it happen? No. Does it happen? Yes. Is it going to continue to happen? Yes. He's more concerned with that because it shows him in a better light than releasing the Epstein files because he was there. He had Epstein at Mar-a-Lago. He can lie and bullshit all he wants and say, oh, I kicked him out because he was a weirdo. You had him there anyways. You knew he was a weirdo. You knew he was a child molester. You knew that he was a child trafficker. You knew he was, it's hard to say this, but a pimp for child trafficked women. Yeah, pause that. That's the one building I wanted to check out. Now it's just rubble. I wouldn't even want to go inside it because it looks dangerous to even go in, even though there might be enough history in it to check out left. Oh well. But yeah, anybody who went to that island, I don't care if it was for a party, I don't care if it was his friends, I don't care if there was nobody there. Everybody, prison. Epstein got caught. being a trash ball, went to jail, got a reduced sentence because I think he was an asset. So you can't tell me people didn't know what type of person he was. You can't tell me people didn't know and can't play stupid. He's a high profile person. Everybody knew. And everybody knew what he did. And yeah, all them buildings. All them fucking buildings. This whole place was full of buildings. Now it's all gone. Should have just jumped on that day, jumped the fence, did some exploring. Lesson learned. When you get the opportunity, gotta go. But yeah, don't act like you didn't know. I'm guessing. Now this isn't an accusation, it's my guess. And hey, I'm just a person who has an opinion, but my opinion is every motherfucker who went there knew what was there, knew why they were going there, knew what was going to happen when they got there, and has no excuse and has no bullshit fucking story that makes it okay that they were there. None. Nothing at all. Everybody who went to that island, prison. And the whole thing where Trump comes out and goes, it's possible that I pardoned Ghislaine Maxwell. It is possible that if you bribe somebody, that they won't name you. Fucking A. Trump has the power, and I'm sure Ghislaine Maxwell's got money stashed, that if she were to get out of prison, she would easily be able to go off the grid or start a new life. But fucking, if you tell somebody that you're letting them out of prison, they're not going to name you, even if you were a key player, even if you were there all the time, even if you're in millions of pictures with him and Ghislaine Maxwell, with you and your wife, and then you pretend like you didn't know that he was a fucking weirdo. Everybody knew, nobody cared, because he had money, and when you have money, you could be a fucking scumbag, a creep, a rapist. I mean, not for nothing. Look at Elvis Presley. That guy's a scumbag. He married an underage girl, older. Look at Karl Malone. From my understanding, he got a teenage girl pregnant, I'm guessing 14, at 20. And then denied his own fucking kid. So basically, he statutory raped a girl and was a scumbag deadbeat parent and got away with it, and nobody still brings it up or cares. Crazy world we live in, where people think this stuff is okay. This place should be up in arms about this shit, but we're not. So that's the end of the Joliet Ironworks Part 2. It's the end of my rant. 50 minutes worth of bitching, moaning, and walking in history. This is the HBJ.